techie one today, mate. Cracking on with the... Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm cracking on with the Vauxhall, the red top, C20XE engine. And this is the one that's bound for a Mark II Escort. What do you think? Like the idea of that?
Yeah.
I like the idea of that.
Nice, naturally aspirated, fun.
Hopefully tomorrow, if not Monday, we're going to be getting the cylinder head back from CTM. So they've ported it and put the bronze valve guides in as opposed to the cast iron.
Lovely.
And then we've got to do the rest of the work.
Cool.
So that'd be nice. And also, along with that, is coming the crank assembly for the V8.
Nice.
So we've got two to get on with, mate, which is very important that we crack on with these next week, because as of Monday, we're going to have that one, which we've got the go-ahead on, a short engine, do the head.
Yep, so it's the mini John Cooper Works one, isn't it?
It is, mate. As I say, as of Monday, we're going to have that one to get on with and another two engines, won't we?
I was just going to quickly say, I do like your jumper.
I'm glad you've added it in like that, mate, because I was going to mention these a bit later on. But what do you think, guys, to the new jumpers? You've got one on as well, mate.
Yeah.
I know this is a large, believe it or not.
Bit tight.
Well, it feels all right.
They are definitely like undersized, but
I reckon one wash and we're down to a crop top. So I've ordered, well, you've ordered me some extra large, but we've gone, the reason for this, mate, we've gone for, obviously I'm going to have to change the shorts.
Yeah. Because
not only are these a little bit sort of old now, want to move away from this style, don't we? We want to go a little bit more pro.
Well, the thing is, in engineering, apparel is one of the most important parts of it, so,
Isn't it just? Like we were saying yesterday, mate, we're going to have to start wearing the bins a little bit more.
Yeah.
Look very techy. So we've gone for the smarter, more professional.
Three-quarter zip, very nice.
Yeah, very nice and very comfortable.
They are.
Move away from the hoodie, get away from that sort of image.
No,
nothing wrong with a hoodie.
No strings on these.
No strings, mate. No floaty sort of hoods that, like you say, have got no specific sort of location. They just sort of drift around.
Nothing to get caught up in a machine either.
Exactly, mate. So yeah, very nice. I like it. So I'm going to probably go for a black chino type short. What do you think?
Yeah, I reckon that's good.
And maybe a purpose steel toe cap trainer.
Yeah, I was going to have a look for some of them, see if we can get a nice load of them.
Start edging a bit more towards the health and safety side of it, seeing as we're on YouTube.
Stop risking our toes every day.
Exactly, mate. My nails have already had a pound in. Right, let's move back onto this Vauxhall. We have had 2 deliveries in the last 2 days, camshafts. So this spec is going to be a fast road spec, fully balanced bottom end, with the forged pistons and rods. So it's going to be a nice bulletproof motor, but we're going for a fast road sort of spec. So
it's quite fairly high compression as well.
Fairly high compression, yeah, 210 to 220 horsepower, hopefully. Still using hydraulic lifters, so it's a fast road race spec cam, really.
I'd like to call it a baby race spec.
I like that.
I think that's a nice terminology for it.
It is a nice terminology. One of the main characteristics of this engine is keeping the mid-range torque up. I'm very sort of focused on what the engine's going to be used for, rather than just go all out, let's see how much we can spend. You normally find when you've had a chat with a customer, what they actually want from an engine and what they've got planned on the build is 2 separate things. So that's why this customer has edged away from the COSI motor, the turbo, and going for this, and not a full-out race red top.
Yeah, if you go too far, then you've only got power up top, and it's horrible to drive, and it's the exact reason we don't recommend paddle clutches and all that stuff, because
that's another thing. Yeah, all the running gear. Try and keep it as simple as you need to, really. So this thing, it's going to be fun in a Mark II. Idea of it is drift round closed road roundabouts. And do donuts.
We do not condone irresponsible driving on public highways.
No, especially not in a Mark 1 or 2 Escort. That is not what they're for, is it?
No, not at all.
No. Right, one delivery I've had today, mate, is these pulleys.
Very nice.
So if anyone watching the channel knows their red tops, you've got 2 different types of belt systems. So you've got the round tooth and the square tooth. This one's a later one, which is a square tooth.
Right.
Which is quite hard to find the vernier pulleys. So it's important that we fit these type of pulleys, because obviously when you're putting in, even if you're using standard cams, when you've machined everything, you need to dial it in correctly, don't you? So you're using the full potential of the camshafts.
Exactly.
But as we've gone for uprated cams, we especially need to use them. So you'd probably find that most of these pulleys for these Vauxhalls will be a round tooth.
Right.
Whereas these are square. So I've bought these, mate, from somebody that's making them in Greece. And what they do is they take a standard pulley, machine it, so you're using the outer.
This is actually machined out of an original pulley, is it?
It is indeed, look.
Wow.
They've machined that out, and the idea is, one, it's a lot easier and simple to manufacture, and two, they're steel, so it's nice hard wearing.
Yeah.
I'm not a great fan of the aluminium
Yeah, I know what you mean.
outer. You do see them where they wear, but they've made an aluminium sort of billet centre, which is very nice. However, they look nice. I do like them in the silver. Going to match the rocker and all that in it, as opposed to the anodised. Although I have had to remanufacture them, shall I say?
Oh, really?
In 3 different areas.
Oh.
One area of which is probably not compulsory, but I just like to have it so it's nice and slick and doing exactly what it should do. And that is that the grooves they've machined there for the little 6mm bolts are very tight on the head. So once you do them up, these little bolts, they're the locking bolts. So once you find your angle there, you nip the bolts up.
Yeah.
And they're very tight on the head. So what you find is when you slacken them, you still can't move this. So you'd have to undo them quite a lot to come out here before it will move.
So it's all a bit, not enough clearance for the head of the bolt.
Not enough clearance, mate. So what I'm doing is I'm machining down the outside of the head of the bolt, just to make sure that they, when you slacken them off, it moves nicely.
Freely, and you ain't got to wind the thing right out.
You can do some fine adjustments without it all going.
Yeah. So like on these,
there we go.
The clearance between the edge of the head and the outer bit.
Exactly. And that's the difference in the quality, shall I say. This one here, I've had to machine the centre the same as the other one, because it wasn't machined. And I wasn't exactly sure. Yeah, visibly, the other one you can see was like this, where you've got a nice flat surface for the washer and the bolt. So I've just done that.
What was it, just
not
like...
a big deal, just hadn't been machined, basically. And most importantly, I've had to turn out the centre diameter here so it fits on the camshaft.
Ah, right. Nice. So
it probably would have fitted, but it would have been a very tight fit, and you'd probably have had to wind it on with a bolt, which is not ideal. So I've made it a nice snug fit on there.
Sounds like maybe they were made on a Friday afternoon.
Maybe. But you see, I can't understand things like this, because you usually find these little bits of remanufacturing that you have to do on these products is petty, really. They've done the hard work, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
they've done most of the work.
They've done all the important bits.
Exactly.
They just went, well, leave them bits. But the trouble is, if you didn't have a machine shop behind you, what would you do?
Well, exactly. They wouldn't be any good to you.
No.
Put it that way. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now, just the bolts. But this is where your time goes on some builds.
Yeah. Well, we get a lot of people saying, how come it's so many hours? But it's little things like that. That's an hour and a half.
And that's just trying to fit your pulleys onto the cams. As simple as that, really. So that's that, mate. They'll be done in a moment, all ready for the head. So what I'm doing now, I'm just getting everything laid out, because obviously it's just been stuck in a box. We have got the original spring bases and spring tops, which we are using. We've got an uprated spring. So these are Kent cams, and these are AST 1603, the camshafts. Kent actually specify their own springs. However, I have bought these from Turbo Sport.
Oh, right.
No real reason for that. I just bought them before we had the cams, to be honest with you, because the customer left me to get the springs, and I buy a lot of stuff from Turbo Sport. So I've checked these against the springs that Kent sell, and dimensionally and pressure-wise, they're exactly the same.
Right.
So that's pretty much what they use, I would have thought. And here, mate, I'm just testing the specs that they're giving on these springs. These are a double spring system. So you've got an outer and an inner.
Yep.
And it's very important, as people have noted in the comments before, it's very important when you're using a centre spring or a double spring system that you use the base and the top, because what you find is, if you look at that, you've got the spring top that sits on the centre spring first, and it's a good 5 or 6 mil before it, when it closes up, before it even reaches the outside. When you close that up, look, before that spring top actually touches on the outer spring, the big spring, you're already at £14. If you were using a flat spring top, you would find that you'd probably lose about £10 before you go anywhere. I've already worked this out, mate, so I've zeroed it. We're at 0 there, which is what they give you as the closed height, installed height. And the installed height is 34 mil. So that's 34 mil of the spring. So you don't take into consideration the base and the top. That's just the spring. So that's 34 mil, and it's £70, and that's exactly what they give on the spec. We've got 11 mil lift on the camshafts. If we wind down to 11 mil, we're getting £176, which is what they give you. Maximum pressure 185, that's 175 with that camshaft. So if we go down until it bottoms out, so we've got 1.3 mil until it coil binds. So really we can't go any less than that, or any more than that, can we?
Getting close to the limit, isn't it?
Yeah, you probably find if we go to 0.3, which would give us a mil, you're at 180 pretty much. So that would only give you about another millimetre before it coil binds. So that's pretty much on the limit of those springs. And that's going to be enough really, mate.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So we'll aim for the recommended, I would have thought.
And
that's going to be good for the sort of 7,000 RPM really, that this camshaft's going to be peaked out at.
Nice.
So there we go. So we'll just go over to the lathe, mate, and I'll show you what I'm doing on these bolts. I've got a little jig. Isn't this nice here?
Oh, it's loads better.
It's so nice to be able to see what you're turning. So what I've done is I've just set up a little 6 mil nut in there and turned the end down. So the end is probably a millimetre or so inwards, but the diameter is slightly less than what we're turning these to. And then all I do is just screw that in there, just nip it up, and then just go to 0, down here, and then wind it in, mate. And I know they're all going to be the same then. So there we go, that's all we've done. Just turned it, took the sharp edge off the bottom, mate. And I know it's only a little 6 mil bolt, but it's got to be done, isn't it?
It's these
when
things,
you're setting it up, it's just, you need it all
takes time as well, doesn't it?
Exactly. Moving on to what you're doing. What are you doing? Oh, the John Cooper Works. And what have we found, mate?
Well, he said it was still burning oil.
Right. And that's the reason it's coming in.
And these are famous for doing that. So he's replaced a load of stuff, valve stem seals, I think.
Put rings in it?
Put rings in it, PCV valve, all that, and it's still, don't know if it's smoking, but it's using oil. So what I've found is when I've taken the pistons out, you can see, there goes all the clips. You can see where they've been rocking in the bore. Even touching at the top of the piston.
Yeah, you can see here, look, where it's all clean and up there. And really, I would have thought these pistons should be touching probably about this area, 10 mil up from this bottom of the skirt.
So they're also a weird design. They've got a wider skirt this side than this side. But so it looks like they've been slapping, rocking around. And when I've measured the bores, which I will show you now.
So this gauge is set at 0, what they should be?
Well, I've measured the piston, so this is measuring the actual clearance between the piston.
So 0 on this gauge is what the piston measures.
So that one's like 4 thou, which is a lot. This one was, I think,
on that depth,
the bigger one, a bit 4.5-ish. So basically, there's way too much clearance.
Way too much clearance.
Probably about 2.5 thou.
And also, if you look down there, that is a monster ring gap.
So that one was, well, it's probably a little bit more than 32 thou, which on a what is it, 3-inch piston? That's quite a lot.
It is, So you've got 3 things here going on with the piston. You've got some wear on the piston skirts now. You've got some wear in the bores, so you're going to be running too much clearance, get some slap on the piston, and you've got severe wear, although it's going to open up the gap if the bore's too big, but it's not going to open it up to that extent.
Yeah.
So we've got excessive wear on the rings now,
Yeah.
haven't we?
So yeah, as the material comes off the outside edge of that ring,
Yeah.
it effectively allows it to sort of expand
Yeah.
and get a bigger gap. So
Usually a rule of thumb with rings, when you're, not that one, that's a top ring, but usually a rule of thumb, you can feel, especially the centre ring, if you can feel it, it's like you could shave with that, can't you?
Yeah,
And you can
very
see,
sharp.
you can see on the centre ring, usually you've got like a dark area at the top where it's not touching, but the majority of the ring is touching, and that means it's a good ring. But when it's completely polished, it means it's buggered.
well, yeah,
Pretty
basically
much.
means it's all been touching and wearing down.
That's it. And then a visible proof is when you put the ring in there and measure the gap. And that
Yeah,
was
so
like
that was
a
just
country mile.
Yeah, that one was quite big. That one's a little bit smaller, but it's still. I think that one was still good 25 thou.
Yeah. So when you strip the engine here and we look at ring gaps like that, I know we've said in the past and that ring gaps are a little bit. Some people's opinion that ring gaps don't tend to matter as much as you think, but we're not actually too worried about the ring gap here. All that the ring gap is telling you is that the ring is worn.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean-
beyond doing its job.
I mean, it's far too much gap.
yeah.
Obviously, you're going to be losing
It is to that
pressure.
extent, yeah.
Really, it's not some people say, oh, you'll lose compression because of it, but it's more that you'll gain blow by,
Yeah.
and it sort of allows oil consumption, and
That's it. Yeah. So you
you
don't
will
want
lose
it.
a bit of
You
compression.
don't want it too
but
big, but you certainly don't want it too small either, do you?
Yeah, I'd argue obviously bigger is better, but it's very important you don't go too big.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful.
That's it,
Fine
mate. So
line.
we've got the go-ahead. We're going to. It's actually, this is a bit of an oddball crown design, isn't it, compared
Yeah,
to
it's
most of them?
it's an N18, and it's got sort of more of a flat top. Obviously, it's got that little dome and bowl sort of bit.
It's a lower compression height
it's-
to some of them.
Yeah,
most
it's
of
like
them.
I guess it's a
like
lower comp one.
It's like 48 as opposed to 52 or
Yeah.
something like that.
and they
But
probably run a bit more boost with them.
yeah,
I don't
but we
really
have
know,
managed
but-
to find some oversized pistons, so
Yeah.
we can bore this, face it, and he wants us to do the short engine.
Yeah, well, it needs boring no matter what now. It's,
Yeah.
it's either bore it or liners.
Lovely
I don't know
job.
what, I guess it's probably just ball wear that's took it to 5 thou. I don't think he's deglazed that much out of it. It's just,
Well, no, no. I'm assuming
Very
if he's used a
difficult to-
deglazer, he's not going to remove any material, so
Not
it
really,
must
no.
be
Just
must
wear.
be ring wear. But yeah, you don't know, do you?
but anyway, other than that, everything looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's all serviceable.
Crank gears all lovely.
Ideal.
Rods, even you see the bearings in there, and basically they, obviously we'll replace them, but they're
Yeah,
not bad at all. So yeah.
lovely job, mate.